Okay, guys, let's see how this goes today. All right, so we're going to start off by doing a little warm-up here. All right, you're going to rewrite this as 3x to the 6th plus 4x cubed minus x. We're going to change that to a plus, change the sign, or add a line, change the sign. This is going to be negative 5x to the 6th plus x cubed minus x. Notice how I switched all three of them signs. All right, look for like terms. These two are alike, so I'm going to have negative 2x to the 6th. Okay, these two are alike, so 4x cubed plus 1x cubed is 5x cubed. Have negative x and negative x, so that's going to be negative 2x. All right, okay, so that should be my final simplified expression. All right, over here for b, we're going to go ahead and we are going to distribute that. So that's going to be 24 plus 20x. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 5x is 20x. Okay, and I cannot add those together, so this is going to be the simplified expression. All right. Okay, letter C. Once again, we are going to distribute. So I've got negative 21h cubed plus 56h squared plus 7. Notice it's negative times negative, so that's 7. All right, this is the simplified form. The exponents are in descending order. I cannot add anything else, so there's my answer. All right, and then last one here, we're going to go ahead and distribute. I got 20b cubed plus 4b squared plus 24b. Now, none of these have the same exponent, so I'm going to leave that as my simplified expression. All right, okay, so let's move on to some new things here. All right, okay, so these are all called polynomials. Polynomials have certain names. Okay, we always classify a polynomial by the degree and the number of terms. Okay, all right, the degree is the highest exponent. Well, this one does not have an exponent, so the degree is 0, and this only has one term. So we would refer to this as a monomial. Okay, mono meaning one. It's one term. All right, going to the next one. All right, the degree, the highest degree is a 1. All right, we have 1, 2 terms. So this is called a binomial. Okay, bi meaning 2. Okay. All right, here we have a couple exponents. We have x squared, we have an x to the first, and technically this is x to the 0. All right, so the highest degree is a 2. There's 1, 2, 3 terms. So if you can guess it, this is called a trinomial. Okay, awesome. All right, coming back down here. All right, this has a third degree, cubic. So this is a 3. Now, this only has one term. The whole thing is 1. Okay, so we're going to have, this is called a monomial. All right, down here we have x to the 4th, x cubed, x squared, and x. The highest one is a 4, so the degree is a 4th degree. It's the highest one. 1, 2, 3, 4. This has 4 terms. Anything over 3 terms, we refer to that as just a polynomial with 4 terms. Okay, and the last one here, guys, this is a 5th degree. Okay, we have 1, 2 terms. So this is a binomial. Okay, and we'll get into the name for the degrees later, but that's kind of important as well. All right. Okay, down here at the bottom, find the GCF. You guys all know what GCF stands for, greatest common factor. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at all 3 of these terms, okay, and see what they have in common. All right, what can I take out or divide out of each term? Well, if you notice 6, 9, and 3, okay, they all have a common factor of 3. And each of these terms has an n. This one has 3 n's, this one has 2 n's, and this one just has 1 n, but they all have at least 1 end. Okay? Or another way you could think of this is, since these all have a negative, this is a -6, -9, -3, you could pull out a -3 and also the n. So either one of those would be acceptable. Okay, so that would be the GCF. I could divide each of those out. I could divide 3n out of each of those terms. All right, over here, look at the 10, the 5, and the 15. They all have a GCF, or common factor, of 5, and they all have at least 1x. This one has 3, this one has 2, and this one has just 1. So the GCF would be, for this one, 5x. That is a common factor. It comes out of each one of those. Okay. All right, going to the second page of these notes. All right. Okay, let's factor. All right, all right, think of it like this. If I gave you the number 6 and I said factor 6, okay? Factor 6. You would say 1, 6, or 2 and 3, okay? Because if I multiply them together, I get 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So those are what we refer to as the factors. We can factor polynomials as well. All right, so let's first of all find the GCF. All right, so what's the GCF of 8x squared minus 12x? All right, the GCF is going to be 4x. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 4x out of each of those. So I'm going to take my GCF, I'm going to put it out in front, and then 8 divided by 4 is 2. X squared divided by x is just x, minus 12 divided by 4 is 3, and x divided by x, they cancel each other out. Okay, now the way you want to double check this, all right, this is the same thing as what we did up here. 2 times 3 is 6, 4x times 2x minus 3 is 8x squared minus 12x. Okay, so what you can do is you can redistribute this like we did in the previous page, and you get 8x squared minus 12x, and that matches up with our original polynomial. All right, so if I said factor, this is what we're looking for. That right there, those are the factors. I have 1 factor, 2 factors. Okay, let's look at H. All right, so here we go. Let's look at all 3 of these and figure out what the GCF is, if they have one. 6, 12, and 24, they all have a GCF of 6, and they all have an M. So my GCF is M, 6M. All right, and I'm going to take each one of these and divide it by 6M. So 6M, and what's left over? All right, so 6 divided by 6 is just 1. This is going to be m squared. Remember, when you divide powers, you subtract their exponents. Minus 2m, and then minus 24 divided by 6 is 4. All right, and those are my factors. Okay, so here's one factor, 6m. Here's another factor, m squared minus 2m minus 4. All right, so if we're looking at to simplify each product, okay? Now, some of you guys may have heard the term FOIL, all right, which stands for first, outside, inside, last, okay? And that's just the order in which we multiply these. But I don't necessarily like this. Okay, all you have to do is do what we call the extended distributive. So I'm going to start with this first term of this first binomial here. I'm going to distribute it to each term in the second set of parentheses. So what that gives me is, all right, it gives me 2x squared minus 8x. And then I'm going to distribute the 1 to each of those, which is going to give me plus x minus 4. So if you notice, I've got first times first, outside times outside, inside times inside, and last times last. That's where the FOIL comes from. So if you have a hard time remembering, you can remember FOIL. All right. Now, a lot of the times when we multiply binomials, these two middle terms are going to be alike. So I can add those together. I'm going to get negative 7x and then the minus 4. Okay, so there's my answer after I multiplied those together. That's the product of those two binomials. Notice, okay, when you multiply two binomials, we get a trinomial. All right, okay. Let's look at K. All right, so we have 2x times 3x, so I'm going to distribute there. That gives me 6x squared. Okay, I'm going to distribute here. This is going to give me negative 12x. All right, I'm going to multiply here times here. This is going to be negative 9x. And here times there is going to be plus positive 18. Once again, if you notice, you guys, those two middle terms are alike. So I've got 6x squared, all right, minus 21x, and then plus 18. All right, and if you notice, this is a trinomial, all right, so it's got 1, 2, 3 terms. All right, and then the last example of these notes, you guys, I have a binomial times a tri, same thing, except this time when I distribute each term, I'm going to distribute 1, 2, 3 times. All right, so I'm going to get x cubed minus 3x squared plus 6x. Okay, all right, I'm going to distribute the 2 to each of those terms as well. So I'm going to get plus 2x squared minus 6x and then plus 12. Now the fun part, you get to look for adding up like terms here, okay? So I don't have any other x cubes, so x cubed minus 3x or negative 3x squared plus 2x is negative 1x squared, all right? 6x minus 6x, they cancel out, and I've got the plus 12. All right, so there you go. So x cubed minus x squared plus 12 is the product of multiplying this binomial times that trinomial. Okay? All right, now you guys are also supposed to have some homework that went along with this. All right, so let's do a couple of those. I'm sure that you guys already probably accomplished this, or at least looked at it, hopefully. All right, let's do a few of these. I think I gave you the answers on Schoology. All right, but if you have any questions, obviously contact me. All right, so if I'm filling in the blank, here it says fill in each blank. All right, so I'm going to distribute this. All right, well, the way we get this first term, this is the first, is multiplying first times first. So 5a times 6a is 30a squared. Okay, so that should be a 30 right there. Okay, number 2, looks like they want that last term. Remember, this is that first term, last term. This right here, guys, very important, is the O plus the I. All right, that term is adding the outside and the inside together when you multiply your binomials together. So we're looking for the last. So I take this last term times the last term, negative times negative is a positive 35. Okay, all right. Let's look at number 3. All right, if we're looking at number 3, they want that inside. Remember, that's the O plus the I, right? So I'm going to multiply outside, which is going to be Z, and then the inside, which is negative 8Z. Add those up, and I get a negative 7Z. All right, very important that you guys know that, okay? All right, number 4. All right, again, looking for that middle term. So I'm going to multiply those two together. They give me 4x. The inside terms together gives me 9x. Add those two up, and I get 13x. So that should be a 13. Okay. All right. Let's do number 5. We'll do just one of these. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and this says simplify each product. So we're going to multiply. So again, it's your FOIL or extended distributed. Multiply here, x squared, 5x, 2x, and 10. Add those two up, x squared plus 7x plus 10. Super simple. Okay. All right, let's skip to the back here. Let's do, we'll do number 14. All right, don't worry if this binomial's on this side. If you want to, you can just recopy this. You can flip-flop those parentheses. X squared plus 2x plus 1. So let's distribute the 9x. All right, that's going to give me 9x cubed. Okay, remember when you multiply, you add up those exponents of those like terms, okay? 9x times 2x is 18x squared, and then 9x times 1 is 9x. Now, let me show you another way of doing this, an alternate way. Instead of just putting the terms back here when I distribute the negative 3, I can actually stack them. So if I distribute this, I get negative 3x squared. Notice how those are the same. And I've got negative 6x here and here, and then I've got negative 3. So now if you watch, okay, I drop this down, squared. I can just go ahead and add those two together. That's going to be, what, 15x. Add these, you get 3x minus 3. And there's my answer. That's more of a vertical adding method, but you can do it the way we did before, just by putting them back here and then circling or underlying like terms. All right. Okay.